depression is a problem that has grown drastically worse in the U.S., but often goes unnoticed by society. While nobody wants to be depressed, it is not the depression itself that is dangerous, but rather the doors that depression lead to. According to a study published by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, suicide is the third leading cause of death for teens and causes nearly 12% of all death among Americans between the ages of 10 and 24. Jane Mock has been a professional counselor for 25 years. She has a bachelor's degree in theology and a master's degree in community counseling. What are the most common factors that contribute to teen depression?
Well, some of the most common factors would be discord in the home, if the parents are not getting along, or if they're in the midst of a divorce or a divorce has already happened. Relationships at school, relationships within the extended family. Bullying can cause depression in teenagers. The lack of a peer support group, as in having good friends at school, not being part of a group, as in being excluded from certain groups of children at school. All of those things can lead to depression in a child.
Okay. And why are teens more susceptible to depression?
The basic reason that teens are so much more susceptible to depression is that they do not understand that what they're feeling is temporary, and that it's part of life and they'll get through it and come out on the other side. They don't have that life experience. So when they get down, when they get depressed, they pretty much feel like it's going to be this way for the rest of my life and my world is over. It has ended. So part of the job of counselors and psychologists are to teach kids that it's not a permanent state, and they will be okay at some point. They'll be able to work their way through it and come out on the other side.
Haley Bracken is a former victim of teen depression and has agreed to share her story with us. At approximately what age did your depression begin?
I was 13 years old. I was in 8th grade. It was about 5 years ago.
What were the circumstances that you believe led to your depression?
A lot of it had to do with my insecurities. I was really insecure with how I looked, what people thought of me. Kind of built up throughout my years in school and being made fun of and bullied. A lot of kids go through that. My parents, they had a really rocky marriage, and I was kind of pulled into the middle of it. Became the center of conflict. It was always my fault. At least it appeared to be, when it really wasn't. There was a lot of disagreement with my mother. We had a pretty bad relationship, but most daughters and mothers at teenage age do. But we never got along, and it was just kind of that emotional roller coaster of being a teenager, or a new teenager because I was 13, and the not so fun parts of life. I ended up dwelling on that more.
Okay. What was the extent of your depression?
It all began back in 8th grade, and I started with light cutting, and it wasn't too bad, but I always kept it hidden. It was one of those things that kind of grew over time. It was a release of pain for me, which was weird because it was pain, but it was physical pain and it took your mind off of emotional pain. In 9th grade, I spent about a month of my freshman year in Woodstock before we moved, and I was in health class at the time, and we were studying suicide, of all things, and they went through story after story after story of people who committed suicide and how they did it, and why suicide is bad. Of course, I missed the part about why suicide is bad, and I ended up with ideas, a head full of ideas. And looking back on it, I was thinking if I didn't move within the first month, after the first month of my freshman year, it probably would have been about a month until I started planning, like actually planning my suicidal attempt. I never actually got to the point where I was holding a gun to my head or anything. But I do believe that if I didn't move, I probably wouldn't be here today.
Most importantly, how did you finally break away from your depression? And what were the helping factors in that process?
Moving to a new town, just an hour north, did a lot. It was a new location, had new surroundings, just kind of put me in a new, this is different mindset. Maybe I can be different. I was surrounded with a lot of new people. I didn't grow up with all of these people to start with. I went to a new high school. I had complete strangers around me all the time. I had a few friends and they were great and they got me through it. But it was just a new group. You can get stuck in your old ways, and as long as you don't actually move out of it and go somewhere else and go do something else and go be with other people, you don't see anything else. You just see what you're in. And then we found a new church about 6 months after we moved. The old church I went to, a youth group consists of like 1,000 people, and the one that I moved to consists of 10. And that was a big difference because it was like a family. It wasn't a preach to the masses. It was, you're a part of something. We want you to be here. We need you. We value you and your opinions and your existence. You have purpose in this place, and you have purpose for God. And that youth group helped me restore my faith in God and that He was actually real. And not only did the people love me, but the adults in the I hated that church when I first came there. I didn't like it. It was too different. It was too small. I wasn't used to having a family for a church. But they loved me anyway. I never flat out said I hated them, but I just didn't feel comfortable. But that they loved me until I loved them, and it taught me a lot. And over time, with my depression, the need for cutting kind of diminished. I started feeling more happy. I continued to cut through the beginning of my junior year. I don't remember the last time. I remember the last time I cut, but I don't remember why. Which is kind of funny if you think about it. That's how much it meant to me, how much I needed it. I don't remember why I did it. It just wasn't necessary anymore. The suicidal thoughts, they went away. That doesn't seem like a practical decision. It's more selfish. You hear that all the time, but it's more selfish to take your own life because you're taking a life and a family member, a friend, somebody from everybody else. You're not just taking your own life.
As parents and peers of these distraught teens, we have a responsibility to make sure that they feel loved and accepted. In the end, it all comes down to the need for love. If more parents and teens would step up and take the time to say a few kind words, or offer to be a friend, or simply just show them that they care, how many more teens would be left standing at the end of the day?